Welcome, everybody. It's fun times in the market. We have silver going up and down, Bitcoin all over the place. We're going to talk about all those things. Adam just put a trade on in GameStop. We are going to talk about all that stuff. But for first, the big topic, of course, everybody's talking about in this market is silver, and we are going to get into that. Now, Adam, have you ever seen such a big focus on the metals ever?
No, and there hasn't ever been such a big focus on the metals, so I couldn't have. This is what's been going on now. The other night, there were more gold futures traded than S&P. So, that's just unheard of. And so it's been a craze. And but when you look at the pricing, I don't know, do you have charts on silver?
Yeah, I can pull up in 1 second.
Yeah, so the amount that it went up and the speed that it went up was incredible. And then I was just trying to time it. And when we spoke last week, I told you I was buying puts on silver. And it was interesting because some of them were for Friday. And so I got bailed out in the 25th hour because we got that Friday sell-off, which continued into yesterday. And now it's rebounded a little bit. The only thing I have left is the February 6th, 23 puts, which I bought for 92 cents. They were up over $3, those options. Now they're like $1.50. So, but I've sold most of that. Like now I'm off. Like we had the big run up, started buying the puts. Now I have no idea what happens in this range right here. But the fact that silver and gold are where the action is, I think maybe that just tells you that people are just looking for things to trade. You know?
That's a big thing. I'm wondering, because is it just a case of, these are the new meme stocks? It seems like the market just always needs like more. Let's just call it what it is: gambling chips.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. Would you say silver's a meme stock? Trading like one, sure. It's just crazy. Like, how much money do you need to make a short squeeze on silver? Like, I don't know.
It is. I don't know. It is interesting because I do think a lot of it is just people see stuff going up, and then they jump on it, and then they make up reasons after the fact. Like, there are legitimate reasons for silver demand increasing. Basically everything: semiconductors, electronics, AI, all that stuff. And then I think people make up the reasons that, listen, I do this myself. I buy something because I have a feeling, and then I start making up reasons after the fact. I think nobody wants to admit that they do that, but I absolutely do it.
No, I discussed this with Tom Sosnoff, and I asked him that exact same question. I'm like, when silver's going up like this and people are giving reasons why, do those reasons have any validity? And he said, absolutely not. He said, silver's just going up because it's going up because there's a squeeze, and you could say whatever reasons you want, but that's not why.
Yeah, I think that this could be a fun test. Imagine we could get all the people who bought SLV and say, like, what are the terms of a silver futures contract? Do you even know? I don't know. Like, I don't know how much silver is in one silver futures contract.
How much? So it depends on, there's different quantities you could trade. So there could be 1,000 ounces, 5,000 ounces. So they have different quantities.
Do you think the average person out there has any idea? I'll give you like a funny example. In like 2020, 2021 at T3, like I was looking to hire a crypto writer.
Okay.
And when I was interviewing people, and I asked them what Bitcoin was, nobody could tell me what Bitcoin was. And I feel like it's a similar situation. It is the hot thing of the moment. And, we see the chart going up, and I think everybody just wants to be a part of it. So for you with these metals, and, we could say the same for gold, copper, uranium, platinum, palladium, et cetera, and so on and so on. Like, are you just staying away from it? Do you feel like this is done and the easy money's been made?
I'm not. Well, sorry. I still have a little of my short left. And when I say short, not naked short, I own puts. That play I made was a win, but I'm willing to make another play, just not right now. I'm more curious to watch and stay in it. It's definitely moving as a trader. My eyes are going to go there. So watching a little bit. What was that ETF again? That dollar? It was like $1.60, $1.80. The double short silver.
ZSL. ZSL.
ZSL. How high did that get on Friday?
I think it got to like 260, 270, something like that.
All right. So people in your group did well with that?
There were, I know Scott Redler was trading it. There were, it's one of those things that in all of our trading rooms, all of a sudden, everybody was trading it. SLV and ZSL. And, I do think there's something about an ETF that's trading at like $1.60, $1.70, and you're looking at silver with an RSI of 96. I think a lot of people jumped on even, listen, I did myself. So the last time silver peaked, I absolutely nailed the top. I bought ZSL calls. They were up 100% the next morning. I held on to them like an idiot, and I lost 50% by like the afternoon. So even I like waded in and screwed myself on ZSL. But yeah, the ZSL's been a huge story in a lot of our rooms.
I've been involved, and I gotta be, come clean with my group, because it's been like a 2-year experiment with these leveraged, either leveraged ETFs or the ones that pay the really high dividends, right? And so like BITO was when I got involved, and then I was like, oh, this is amazing. You get a monthly dividend. It tracks Bitcoin. It's great. Just a loser. Goes down more than Bitcoin. These things just make their way, just like the VIX. These things are all designed to make their way to zero. YMAX, and it's probably the same thing with ZSL. It's probably something that will have a reverse split. You'll look at it and be like, how is it 50? And then you realize it was like a 10 for 1, 20 for 1 split, whatever it was. Anything that seems too good to be true with this stuff, it is. And all these products just look like they're designed to go to zero.
Yeah, there are a lot of these leverage ETFs, you can hold them for like a few days, but then
it's just short term. Yes, correct. It's a short term play. It's not something you hold 100%. That's what it is.
Yeah. And I do think people out there should be careful, because there's been an avalanche of these wacky ETFs the last few years. And many of them, they have absolutely no assets. They trade like no volume. And I think a lot of them are just going to disappear one day. So I think people need to be like very, very careful with anything that seems like very, very spicy and exciting and new. You have, especially with ETFs, you need to be very careful. Okay, we need to talk about this crypto implosion. Now, the knives are out for Tom Lee. I don't have a knife. All I have is a nail file. But like everybody is coming for Tom Lee, because he's been giving out all these crazy forecasts on Bitcoin and Ethereum, and we've seen Bitmine and MicroStrategy have all been absolutely decimated. So, do you think that says anything about the stock market?
Yes. And, let's start with MSTR, Sailor's company, right? Which is essentially imploded, right? What's it lost? 70% of its value? More? I don't know.
Probably more.
And by the way, I did an interview last year when it was in the 300s or 400s. It's all public, so someone could fact check me. But I was talking with Sosnoff, and we were talking about he said MSTR is a Ponzi scheme. Like not in those words, but essentially those words. And then I remember this because my media team sent out the headline for the call we did saying Sosnoff says MSTR is a Ponzi scheme. And I was like, guys, you can't send that out. We didn't check with him. Like, that's very aggressive. So I remember that being our headline that we sent out. And now when you look at it, it's imploded. So it was a great call. And I had a whole conversation yesterday about single points of failure in Bitcoin. And we actually disagreed on that one because he thinks Bitcoin is going to be around forever. He's buying it I'm not disagreeing. I actually wasn't really disagreeing. I still don't. I still think this was the conversation that gold and silver. At the end of the day, you still have something tangible. Like Bitcoin, we're never going to be buying coffee with Bitcoin. Maybe stable coin, but not Bitcoin. And it's never going to be transactional. It's never going to be something that you could take delivery of, right? Like you could gold or silver. So what is it? I mean, I know there's a lot of Bitcoin fans. Um, it's gone down a lot. There's a lot of people that just hold it and don't sell. And this is really interesting and something to think about with trader psychology. If you buy Apple and say at 100 and you put $100,000 into Apple and it goes to 80 and you have $80,000, you're like, it's Apple, I'm going to hold it. And then it goes to 70 and you're at $70,000. You're like, it's Apple. I'm never selling Apple. But if it gets to like $50,000 or $40,000, at that point, you're like, screw this company. I hate it. I want it off my plate and I'm going to sell it and I'm going to use that money for something else. So with Bitcoin, I do think psychologically, knowing how traders think, even though it's in the 70s right now, coming down from 110,000 to 77,000, hasn't been enough for that emotional sell to kick in. If it continues lower, there's a tipping point where all the people that say I'm never selling will sell. And then you'll see it go really low, 30,000, 15,000. That could happen. And what happens to the market? Well, we have a lot of products that have Bitcoin involved with them. So then you have to sell. And then a lot of the crypto money starts to liquidate positions. And I do think it would have an impact on the market. I think it's one of the biggest things that could affect the market. On Sunday night, when Bitcoin was trading down, the futures traded down correspondingly. And even now, Bitcoin's down, market's down. And I do think it might be that the market's following Bitcoin right now. That could be in my own head, but that's the way I feel right now. I actually think the market, with nothing really else to look at, we've been in this range where we're not going through our highs, but we're not going lower. The market is kind of just being like, well, what's Bitcoin going to do? I don't know. Is that crazy to say?
No,
the market
well, I mean,
follows Bitcoin right now?
I feel like they have to be connected just because Bitcoin is in some ways the ultimate risk asset. Because like you said, there's nothing really tangible. Like gold and silver have legitimate functions in industrial processes, even jewelry. I mean, like the thing with Bitcoin, I keep hearing they're more like edge cases. Like the thing that stands out to me is I knew a lawyer who represented, I'll just say, entrepreneurs in shady activities in Colombia, and she was a defense lawyer. And so she was sick of bringing like $150,000, $200,000 in cash on planes and going through customs and everything. So she started getting paid in Bitcoin. So it's like, Bitcoin has great uses as a transfer mechanism, but yeah, it's just like, it's hard to imagine it as a real thing. Here, I'll give you some inside baseball at T3 Live.
Okay.
People, all right, like everybody sees PayPal stock getting destroyed. We have a lot of customers that insist on paying through PayPal and nothing else. They absolutely have to use PayPal. We don't get anybody saying like, I want to pay in Bitcoin or stablecoin or Ethereum. Like people are still demanding PayPal of all things. So right. I do think Bitcoin is right at the very edge in terms of risk assets. So I feel like could you imagine a situation where the NASDAQ drops 50% without Bitcoin falling? Like that seems impossible to me.
No, I can't imagine that. I do think the NASDAQ could break away from Bitcoin at a certain point in the future. I think it's more likely that Bitcoin could not drop 50% without. That's what I'm saying. The market at a certain point can trade independently of Bitcoin. But right now, if Bitcoin were to fall 50%, I think it would bring the market down with it.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think that would be more of a. I think it's more likely Bitcoin would bring the market down a lot than the market brings Bitcoin down a lot.
Okay, so which one is the dog and which one is the tail?
That's what I'm saying right now. Right now, Bitcoin's the dog.
Okay.
I think that's switched. Who agrees with me? And by the way, for the people in the chat, we switched our platform. Everyone's smooth with the switch. Is that okay? I saw
Yeah.
that Ian just made a comment about George Carlin, who has some of the funniest jokes that I've ever heard. And then Gloria comments, so you guys could see each other's chats, which is great.
Yeah.
Mervin said he has a friend that's lost 300,000 MSTR, and that is most of his portfolio. You guys cool with this new format on the screen?
Yep. Philip is saying yes, happy with the switch.
All right, good.
All right. Oh, okay. All right.
The only thing I don't like is, can you see? I can't get the. I just can't get the. Or maybe I can. I don't know. Let me see.
Yeah, everybody likes it. Linda's saying yes. Tom is saying yes.
The only thing I can't see is like all the different people on. Like I don't. Maybe you know how to see like everyone who's on here separate.
Well, we can see everybody who's chatting. If you click on comments on the right side of the screen, you can see all the chat messages, but we can't see every single person.
Right. Okay.
That's on. Okay. All right. All right. I think we need to talk about Mervin's comment. I have a friend that lost 300K in MicroStrategy. Now, do you think? So, Adam, I think this is a huge topic. People getting emotionally attached to certain names. Now, I know at T3 Live, people are addicted to Tesla.
Okay.
And like, so we did a survey at the end of the year. We asked everybody what was their favorite stock for this year. Across the board, Tesla was the top choice, and second place wasn't even close. It was shocking how many people have Tesla. Now, How do you think people can emotionally detach themselves? Because we're seeing it with MicroStrategy, with Bitcoin, gold, silver, et cetera, et cetera. How can people avoid getting emotionally attached to one stock or crypto or whatever it is?
Well, it's interesting with Tesla. There's probably an emotional attachment to the person, to Elon Musk, and the leader of the company, the visionary, and you can't say they've been wrong, because throughout the years, anyone who said Tesla's just a car company, or what are you doing, or this is a crazy short, was wrong. And anyone who said this guy's a genius, he's going to build great things, was right. And Elon Musk has not only revolutionized the way cars are built, and all the cars we have stem from his idea, right? He changed the auto industry forever. We thought Twitter was going to be a disaster, but he bought Twitter and controls it effectively. He has Grok. He has SpaceX. I mean, this is a modern day Albert Einstein. So I guess if you're going to make an emotional decision and you're right, it's really going to pay off. You know, if you're going to make an emotional decision and you're wrong, you're going to get killed in the market. So
all right, but the thing is, it's people getting over, but specifically, I think in regards to trade sizing. So, well, one of our contributors, who I won't name, recently had a Tesla idea that failed, and it was an option trade. It was a zero. We got customer service flooded complaints. That trade sucked.
Okay.
Meanwhile, same guy had an XLE trade that went up 200%. Crickets. Like nobody even paid attention. So that's the thing. It's like, do you believe in having like something like a standard trade size, so to avoid getting carried away with like this one name you're in love with for whatever reason?
Yeah. Isn't there a rule like 10% of your portfolio? I mean, listen, anytime for me, whenever I go bad, it's because of trade size. I think it's the number one flaw in trading is trade size. And yeah, anytime you go, like he said, MSTR, the guy lost 300,000. It was most of his portfolio. Anytime you size up on a trade and risk more than you should, you allow emotion in, you lose control, everything gets bad. And I admit that firsthand. There's no stock loss I couldn't have handled. There's nothing I could have not managed, except for when I oversize and get hit. So position sizing is probably the paramount thing in trading,
Yeah.
right?
So Adam, I'm going to ask you to help me with something.
Okay.
So I'm primarily thinking long term. I just want to buy things and hold them forever. I don't want I just want to sell the junk and just hold on to good stuff forever. Now, my problem is I have a lot of names that are up huge, but I never bought enough of them. Like I underperformed last year, even though I had a lot of stocks that were up. Like I was at Google and a bunch of other winners,
Right.
but I have never owned enough of like the home runs. What do I
Well,
do?
well, let's say, is it equal value in your positions? Because give me an example of something that hasn't gone up over the last couple of years.
Oh, I've had Uber since last year, and it's basically been flat.
No, that's on me.
No, it's
You got that from me.
I did, but I believe in the idea because
Right. No. The
to me,
Uber is interesting because it was in the 70s, it went up to 100, and now it came all the way back down. But here's what I'll say that's interesting is, now let's give me an idea that you didn't participate in that you could have.
oh, SanDisk last week.
Let me just give you like another one from like over the last 2 years, just to do the math, and this is what I'm saying. Because my guess would be that you do sell the winners and you hold the losers. Because let's say you're in that buy and hold forever mentality, and you allocate correctly, like the same amount, the same monetary amount to different positions. So let's say you have $100,000 portfolio, and you put, I'm just trying to do the math, but $20,000 into Uber when it was at where it is now. We'll call it 80. Okay. So that's 250 shares, which would have gone nowhere. But if you put that same $20,000 into Palantir at 20, right? Right? You would have made nothing in Uber, but you would have made over $100,000 in Palantir on that same $20,000. And if you put it into Hood, you would have made that same amount of money. And if you go back to Nvidia at the beginning, you made the same amount of money. So if you're putting the same amount of money into each position and you're holding all of them equally, you're going to be up a fortune. So either the ones you like, you're not participating in, or you're selling too early, but right? Like, because maybe my bet would be that you don't actually hold everything. Do you?
I hold most of them. There are a few things that I've dumped into weakness, like Emerson Electric is one that comes to mind. EMR, I think I sold it at 100. It went to 150. Most things I'm holding, and I think I'm getting dragged down. I actually have to go back and do the math because I think I'm getting dragged down by some of the crud because
Well,
I have a.
I think when you have positions that should I share my screen for a sec?
Yeah.
Is that good? All right. Give me 1 sec.
All right. And folks, while Adam's doing that, let us know right in the chat, what is your biggest trading challenge? Like, let us know what you really want to work on. Like, what do you want to improve at? Let us know down in the chat below.
So if you go here, I'm good now? Am I sharing my screen, or you got to make it live?
I'm going to pull it on the screen. I'm going to pull it up right now.
So let's say you take Uber, and now you're in and you're looking at it and you're saying, I don't know. It's like, now you're like, I don't love it. Maybe I do. Are you starting to question it? Like, maybe I should get out of this?
Uber, like, not necessarily, because it fits the profile of the stocks I want to own long term. Basically, I want to own things that are addictive that people won't give up.
Right. What I just wouldn't mind doing then is just kind of starting to say, like, maybe I'll sell an 85 call against it. right? If you have 100 shares, you take in $130. So if it runs up 7 points, you make an extra $700, and then you decide if you want to roll the call back. So I think if you do really have the fortitude and the willingness to hold these positions, then you start to sell premium against them, and keep lowering that cost basis over time. Should be the goal. And then you could always sell puts to get back in. I wouldn't just hold them passively. I love options as a vehicle to collect money. And sure, you have to be careful around earnings because you could get those major moves. But in between those earnings announcements, just to be able to collect, I think is great.
Okay, so do you think that's like an underrated aspect of options? Because I think people only think of buying options. Covered calls, I think, slight exception, but like, do you think people are not taking advantage of selling options enough?
Yeah, I think most people don't understand it, or they don't have the money to own the stock and then sell the call against it.
Okay, all right. Here's Mervyn selling. The reason Uber doesn't go up is because of Waymo taking market share. Probably makes sense. All right.
Not really. Where's Waymo? How many states is Waymo in now?
I think Waymo is. I think is Waymo only in California.
It's definitely in Arizona.
San Francisco, Phoenix, and Los Angeles. They have partnership with Uber.
California, Arizona, Texas, and Georgia.
Yeah, and they have partnerships with Uber as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope Uber. Okay, let's Adam. Let's earnings season, full swing. You know, we've seen some home runs like SanDisk. Then we've had some losers like Microsoft comes to mind. So
right.
So people know, because a lot of people, they want to roll the dice in earnings. They want to buy calls. They want to buy stock, whatever. Do you ever play earnings reports ahead of time?
By the way, should I stop my share, or you did already?
I took it off.
All right, you're the man. No, unless it's a position like you are with Uber, unless it's a long-term hold, which wouldn't be in my trading portfolio, then I'm not holding into earnings. It's I'd rather trade it afterwards. Like the way I would trade Tesla opened at like, was it 438 after earnings, and I ended up making $800. I could show you what I did in Tesla, if you want to see.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So share my screen again.
Mm-hmm.
So this was me trading Tesla the day after earnings. So I missed the short. I wanted to buy puts after it dropped a couple points because there tends to be like a momentum play. And I thought I was going to go lower, and I was trying, but it started dropping too fast. And eventually I was like, I can't get these puts. And then Tesla tanked. And then at that point, it went down so much. I just jumped in. I bought 20 calls at $4.24. I sold them 40 cents higher. I made $800 in a minute. And that's how I traded Tesla after earnings. That was my one Tesla earnings trade, $800 in a minute.
Pretty good.
Better than holding into earnings, having it open up, being like, yes, I'm going to hold this forever, and then getting killed for the rest of the day. Right?
Okay, so you made $800 in 1 minute?
You can see it right there. Yeah.
I think for that period of time, you were making more money than Jeff Bezos, which is pretty impressive.
Really? Is that true?
I don't know. I mean, if he makes like billions of dollars a year when the stock goes up, I mean, who the hell knows? But maybe you squeezed past him for.
I would guess I don't. How much does Jeff Bezos make a minute? What do you guys think? Give guesses, and then I'll read it over. You guys put your guesses in, and then I'll tell you what the answer is without Googling. Right. Just guess. Right. Everyone guess in the chat. What do you think Jeff Bezos makes a minute?
I'm going to guess he makes $4,800. No, wait. I'm going to guess he makes I'm guessing $3,200. Philip is Philip says 500. I'm going with 4,800. So
No,
what,
that's
Adam? What is?
I didn't say 4,800. It says that out of mesh. That's not my guess.
Oh no, no. I think that's it automatically posting. I'm going to delete the comment.
Okay.
Okay. Doug is telling us 7,500.
You guys aren't going to believe it. Let's just say higher. Let's just say higher for people to get close.
That's it's because like I'm trying to imagine like there's a lot of minutes in a day. So wait, there's 60 minutes. 60 times 24 is 12. So there's 1,280 minutes a day. I think if I'm doing the math correctly. All right, Adam, what is it?
$142,000 a minute.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy. Makes you stop. So meanwhile, yesterday I was trading the market bearish. It looked like we were going to go down. I waited until we went up from 618 on the Qs to 622. I started buying puts. We would not stop going down. We went all the way up to 628. And by the time the market came down a little bit, there was no premium left in those options anyhow. And I was like, all right, I can't fight with this market anymore. Every year I fight with the market. And I was like, this year I won't. So yesterday I did. And then today I didn't. And today we opened up and how fast was that sell off in the morning?
It was pretty fast.
Like minutes?
Not minutes, but it was definitely flying by.
Right. So I came in with I have all my positions on, but my main position that I put on yesterday was GameStop. I really like the volume news that they're making an acquisition, just thinking that they have enough money that they're going to stick around and make it. And I was looking for that follow through move today. And it just gave back most of its gains, just a complete bust, which is frustrating.
Isn't it funny that isn't it funny that GameStop is still a story in 2026?
Well, they got Ryan Cohen as the CEO, and they have a lot of money, and I think they're going to be able to make things happen. But I think this might be one where it was just better to own the stock because I traded the options and I did it for the short-term follow-through, and I got hit. Let's see. But there's really not a lot to trade right now, right?
There's a lot of action, but it's just there's not a lot of follow through, and everything just seems so wild day to day. Because it's funny because like if you look at like ETFs, like you see big numbers year to date, but along the way, it's the ups and downs are so wild.
Right. Yeah. Right. Sorry, I got lost in that. Are you planning to review any of our positions? Andrew, no, I'm going to do that on Thursday. I'm going to go through the portfolio with everything we have. There was nothing imminent to go over anyhow. The portfolio's fine. The ones that are bothering me the most is that BITO dividend, which was low. I think it was like 9 cents. It's come down from 76 cents or something like that. That's what I don't like. So, and then by the way, are we going to have another government shutdown? What's the deal with that?
That changes every, I think they just keep kicking the can down the block, down the road every so often. I think it's funded short term. I don't know. I'm kind of
dividend a penny. Is that what it was?
For what, BITO?
Yeah. BITO dividend, or maybe that was just something else. Let's see. Bit of a dividend for January. No, yeah. Oh my God. So they're like skipping the dividend. This thing is, yeah, this might be, what a loser.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's the funny thing. Like with a lot of these crypto things, like I try to have ChatGPT explain to me like why should I own MicroStrategy instead of Bitcoin, and it's just a whole bunch of babbling. I don't get it. Yeah, so our friend Carl is pointing out they paid 2 dividends in December, which looks accurate. So I'm on a website that's with showing the dividend history. So maybe they
Thank you,
have to like
Carl. That makes me feel
maybe
better.
maybe they have to get rid of a certain. I think they might have to get rid of a certain amount of capital at the end of the year or something. That's possible.
Carl,
All right,
thanks.
Adam.
That made me feel a little better. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Carl. You're the star today. All right. I just want to ask everybody. So, how do you guys like this new format? It's obviously it's easier to log into the VTF, but would you rather have this? Like, do you like the way this goes? Let us know what you think. And Adam, you want to answer some questions from our friends in the audience?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay. So Linda is telling us I need to work on confidence to hold instead of getting nervous and selling too soon. So how can people improve just their staying power with something that's good?
Well, Linda, I think it depends on what you're trying to do in terms of, is this for trading or is this for long-term investing? Because I think it's almost like two different accounts for that. So it starts with that. But I think the simple answer to your question would go back to what I said before, which is probably the best thing I could have said right now. It's all about position sizing. If you're comfortable with the amount that you invested, then it's not going to bother you. You'll be able to stay in it. When you invest more than you probably wanted to, or you're a little bit oversized, that's when it becomes tougher to hold. And when you find yourself checking it more. So it needs to be right. And then, so with swing trades, I don't know if you're not, are you having success? If you're having success, don't change anything. But if you feel like you want to let them run a little bit more, I don't really know. I think we need to go case by case. But if you look at, like, if you held a trade from yesterday to today, it's probably reversed. If it was down, it's up. If it was up, it's down, right? Like, look at the difference in the market action from yesterday to today. So this is a market that's kind of like in a range, but it's kind of going back and forth. So I don't know. I don't know, Linda. In terms of, it would really have to understand what you're doing with premium collection. And I would say that the easiest way to stay in trades is to collect premium against them. I feel good about that answer.
All right. And I'm going to put something on the screen. So if you want to learn how Adam does all this stuff, there's a link below for a free look at Mesh Prime. So if you want to try out Mesh Prime, there is a link down below for you guys so you can get all of Adam's best ideas. And Adam, I think we have one more question.
And by the way, yeah, for just to watch this video again, it's going to be on YouTube now. It's live right now, which is pretty cool. And there's a lot of other timely conversation on there right now. So that's at Adam Mesh, if you want to just follow there. Just got over 3,000 subscribers while we were on this call.
That's awesome. Yeah, we're going to email it so people can, so everybody who couldn't make it can watch. Okay, so our friend John is telling us, I hang on to losing trades too long, thinking they are coming back. And I think everybody's had this problem. So when is it time to give up and say goodbye to something?
It's that sizing question again, a little bit, you got to give up faster when you're too heavily invested. If you're not, then like with the Uber trade, I like kind of trying to sell a call to get out of it. Or just if you feel, honestly, sometimes when you look at your trading screen, there's a negative energy associated with a couple of positions. Like, I don't like this here. This makes me upset every time I look at it. I want it gone, and I want to use the money for something else. Um, and I think at that point it makes sense to do that. I think sometimes it's almost a better replacement rather than just selling. It's like, what I'd rather have this than that, and I'm going to make the switch now.
Good. Perfect. Okay. All right. So that is going to close us out. Everybody, thank you for joining us. We will be back next Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern time, and we're going to stick to this format because everybody's telling us they like this. Vern says format is better. Andrew says easier to log in and better layout. And also the replay will be on YouTube, and we will email it to you so you can watch again if you want. And also for our friends that could not be here with us, they can get the content also. So Adam, any final words for our friends out there in the universe?
No, just for you. I think a lot of times, like, it's kind of like sometimes on the sidelines when you see the players and they're like trying to get on the same page, but when they do, it makes everything better. And I'm happy that we got to this point because I like the format better. People like the format better, and that has me excited for the things we're going to do next. So great job suggesting this change, and let's keep it going.
Awesome. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day and good luck out there.
All right, bye.